Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the top stories we have for you tonight. The borrowing bill passed the Senate. We ask you how you feel about borrowing money. And the governor pays a visit to Pearl B. Larson School on St. Croix. And Wednesday, it's your Crime Stoppers report. These stories and more up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, the Virgin Islands senators passed the controversial borrowing bill late last night in a 16-hour marathon session that went on until 2 a.m. The vote passed 8-7. News Channel 8's Wes Small is with Virgin Islands Senator Sammy Sanis.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. I'm here with Senator Sammy Sanis, and one of the senators that made that late night decision last night. Senator, thanks for spending time with us. I know neither one of you have had much sleep, but the vote last night, either we face payless paydays or then we borrow more money. And I have to tell you that it was a very controversial bill. But how did the vote go, and what do you have to say about your decision? You voted.
I voted
Yes.
for the borrowing, and it's more than just payless paydays, Wes. You got to think that when you lay off a government employee, you not only lay off a government employee, but you lay off his family too. We're talking about the primary wage earner having to go home with no pay and no health insurance. We already have too many kids in the territory without health insurance. Are we going to add on more? And that's very important. Not only that, what about the retirees whose sole income are retiree checks? That's something to think about. So it was a very difficult decision, but it was the right decision to make.
Do you think that you'll get some flack from your constituents, or maybe this election season or something like that? Are you worried about popular opinion because of your vote?
To be honest with you, my conscience is clear. I did the right thing for the right reasons. That's what I was elected for. And the people eventually will see that I did the right thing. We got to think about what's best for the people, not what's best for one or a few, but what's best for the people.
All right. Now let me ask you this. That money is $250 million. What will that money do to sustain our financial situation?
Well, basically, it will continue with government operations. It will continue with payrolls. It will guarantee the income tax returns, which a lot of people are looking forward to. And it's basically to keep this government alive. And not only that, Wes, you got to think too that by helping the government sector, the public sector, we'll also help in the private sector. Because if you have, for instance, 500 people that get laid off, the private sector suffers.
It's a direct trickle down.
Exactly,
Domino
Wes.
effect.
You got that right, Wes.
All right. What more? Do you have some more important bills on the table that face you senators soon, or was that pretty much the biggest one?
That was actually the biggest one. I just want to tell the people that it was a difficult decision. That's why it took us all day and practically all night to come up to the right decision. But that's the reason we were elected. The individuals that opposed the bill, my fellow senators, they had good reasons too. But at the end, we have to do what's right for the people.
Thank you very much, Senator Sammy Sanis. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks for those comments, Senator Sammy Sanis. Well, now we take it to the streets to find out what you feel the general public has to say about the borrowing bill.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Again, in a late night session, well after 2 o'clock, our legislators, VI senators, voted, and then they supported Governor John DeYoung's borrowing measure. Kind of a complicated bill, very controversial, $250 million to borrow. To put it simply, either that or we could have been facing dire straits for our financial season, possibly payless paydays for government workers. This young man sought News Channel 8 out this morning after the decision was made, and your feelings on this?
Yeah, Wes. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good.
My name is Dingo, better known as Maxwell.
Yes.
It's the young subcontractor of the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the economy. Our government is looking to borrow $250 million in St. Croix here, where we realize that he's putting our economy in more deficit. I do believe, as a citizen, that we try to use the little that we have and try to stretch as much as we can. And if we see that we can't reach enough for the little bit that we have, I think that's a good point to borrow a little certain amount of money. But $250 million, that's a lot of money to put the government into deficit. Okay? Around here, we know, well, things is kind of rough. We have jobs in here for over 14 years. The government have job freeze in the economy, you know. And I do believe to take a little pay less day, at least a 1 week or a 2 weeks less payday, to see the economy strive together as human beings that come together to try to help build our economy up. Instead of just waiting for the government to do things, I do believe that my people in this economy should stand together as human beings, as black people for this economy, and come together and say, let's help out and try and put this economy back together.
Borrowing money, and that seems to be the question today as we talk to people on the street. What do you think? Last night, another late night decision by the senators, kind of close, controversial, past 2 o'clock, but it passed. Looks like the Virgin Islands is going to get to borrow some more money, but the upside of that is possibly we won't have to send people home, government employees. What do you think about that measure last night?
Supported 100%. What else could he have done? Look at Greece and the whole world. New Jersey's almost ready to be bankrupt.
That's my hometown.
Right, brother? The man can't help it.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied 100%.
You think it was a good move?
I think it was a good move.
And you're a registered voter?
No, I'm registered in Philadelphia and just on vacation.
Oh, so you're just like, I understand. Let me put it this way. If you were living here and you were going to partake in this election, when you go to the polls, would this decision last night affect the way you vote, one way or the other?
Yes.
All right, last night, again, a late night vote, borrowing money, $250 million, and the senators passed it. What do you think about that?
I think it's terrible. I think that they should cut back instead of spending more. We don't need to be borrowing me. We already owe too much as it is, and they need to quit giving raises.
To borrow money or not to borrow money? $250 million last night. That's what the senators okay. Do you agree to that?
No, I'm not agree with that at all.
You don't go for the borrowing
No,
money?
I don't go for the borrow money at all.
Why not?
Because the way things are right now with the economy is so hard and it's a struggle.
Yeah,
You know, so
it's hard for everyone.
It's hard for everybody.
Even if government employees go home?
Even the government departments go home, it's hard for them.
To borrow money or not at this time?
I think they were up against a brick wall, Wes. If you didn't, you lose. If you did, in a way, you still lose because you're putting money on top of money. I'd say they had to go for it. I say they had to go for it because how many government workers would be out of work? That messes with the tax base. It messes with all of the other stores and pueblos. Yeah, so they had to do something. But it's like this every 2 or 3 years. They borrow more and more and more and more. Where it ends, no one knows. But they stayed up, what, through midnight last night?
Seems like I heard that in the casino one time. Where it stops, nobody knows.
No one knows. It's just roll the dice and let's go. 250 million?
Yeah.
Let's go with it. You know, they got to save the